for a Scraplift Crafternoon with Miss Kimberly over at I'd Rather Be Scrapbooking and Miss Kristen at Scrapping on the Fly. As of right now, I don't think anyone else has joined us, but if anyone else does, I will put their link down below in the description box. Today we are scraplifting. Actually, one of my suggestions, I watch her stuff on YouTube all the time. It's Kelsey. Well, she got married, so my apologies, Kelsey, if I messed this up. But I know your Instagram's Kelsey May Cherry. I think her married name's Kelsey Cherry. She's just the sweetest thing. I listen to her all the time, and I just love her little giggle. She's so cute, and she's really good about, honestly, she's so, she's very efficient with her paper. She guts everything. She always ends up with, like, scraps and stuff. So this layout here, I didn't pick the layout technically. I just picked her, and then Kimberly picked the layout. And this is what she's gone with, and you can see there's like a striped background with like I guess it was a white cardstock that she put some mixed media on. And then I promise you, I don't remember. I know I watched the video. It's been a while. My guess is this is from the middle of that strap paper because she does gut everything. And then I'm sure this was also a stash bust or like a use up her scraps because she's got all these little layers of scraps around these two pictures. And then just 3 little embellishment clusters going on here. So that's our layout, and the plan I have is this is going to be my background to kind of act as the stripes. So I'm going to be gutting this to use it, behind the picture. Thinking this is going to be my middle. Actually, let me tell you this first. Sorry about that. This is a Hip Kit January 2022 kit. I need to try to get through this. I actually have one piece of paper I'm hoarding in that thing, and I've got to figure out how to use it, but that's not going to go on this layout. So I have these 2 papers here, and then I've got these 2 papers I've cut into before. So I'm going to use these as scraps behind the photo. And then, so that gives me kind of 4 patterns to work with, give or take. And then for the mixed media, I have pulled out a really old bottle. I don't know how much I have left of this, not much of nothing. Should be plenty though. Of a Tattered Angels Fully Purple because it's got this purple. I'm hopeful this works. I don't know. I'm hopeful. Got my little things there. And then, of course, all the embellishments. I have tons and tons, y'all. I still have too many. That's kind of why I'm hoping this purple works. Maybe it's not too crazy. And I wanted to see maybe still about using this fringy stuff. So that might go behind the picture some kind of way. And then my picture is I'm going to tell y'all something. So my daughter used to model. And I have all these pictures. And I actually have entire little tubs called model pics. And if I'm honest with y'all, there's times that I just don't feel like looking for events to scrap or whatever. I need to do a layout. And so I'm going to tell you, I have this stash of model pics that I'll go through. They're almost always great pics. In fact, they're always great because they're taken by professionals. And they're always kind of interesting. There's usually very candid type stuff. So I'm going to do this picture of my daughter. She's just looking off into the sunset or whatever she's looking at with a little grin on her face. Not really anything specific other than just a pretty picture to use on my layout. And that's my plan. So let me get a little traction here. I'll cut some stuff up, start going. I haven't figured out title or anything yet. I have tons to work with. So that's where we are. So give me a second and we'll be back soon. Okay, guys. So at this point, I have trimmed that white with the little yellow zigzags down 1 inch, and I've centered that on the middle of that gutted piece of stripe paper. And you can see the gutted part on the left-hand side. And right now what I've done is I've taken that purple Tattered Angels, and I could not get it to squirt out. There's just not enough in there to get the little squirter to work. So I poured a little bit on my little mat up there, which you can't see because it's off camera. Now, what I've decided to do, so I was watching a video not too long ago of Kimberly over at I'd Rather Be Scrapbooking, and she had kind of folded her little packaging up a little bit. She'd made like a rainbow thing, and she kind of folded the little packaging, and it looked to me like she had a little more control. Normally, I take my whole hand and stick it in a package, and I get that stuff everywhere. So I thought I'll try this little folded piece, and I really liked how that turned out. I thought I had a lot more control. I did not smear it all over the place. It kind of went where I wanted it. I mean, don't get me wrong. I think there's a time and a place for the bigger one, but this one just worked better for me. Now, the purple I'm a little unsure of, but I think it's all right in the end. So now it's kind of dry, so now I'm going to create my photo mats here. And I fast around just a little bit on these photo mats because I put the picture down. I like this yellow, and I put the picture down. If I'm honest, I think it actually really warms up the picture. It's a good color against it. But then I'm kind of looking, okay, well, I want another photo mat. What color am I going to use? And then plus I'm trying to figure out on this stripe here. Now that this makes me a little bit sad because I love the center of that stripe paper, and I kind of wanted the whole thing, but really it's not going to end up working. So now here's where I've decided, okay, I need to go ahead and map my photo again. I'm going to use this, I cut out this little like bubble, I guess it's like 70s bubble looking things. And I thought, okay, I'm going to do the yellow and then the white. Well, then I kind of looked and I go, well, maybe I want the white, then yellow. But then I kind of set it against this stripe deal here, and I go, no, I'm going to keep with the yellow and then the white. I really like that best. So that's my mats right there. I think in a second, I'm just going to kind of tack them together so I don't lose them. But I'm still looking at this square because, again, I really like this square. I really love it, and I hated to trim it, but I'm going to have to. I keep looking at it. It's too big. It's not the design that she's got going on. It's a little smaller. Here's where I go ahead and tack these pictures together, or the picture to the photo mat, so that I can move things around without it being... I like to dry fit things, but at the same time, once I figured it out, I try to go ahead and just stick it. It's when I'm still kind of contemplating and I'm not 100%, I may not stick things. But I'm pretty certain I'm sticking with these. So I'm going to go ahead and tack those together. I didn't use a ton of glue because I'll have to come back in there, but who knows. But I keep looking at this little stripe paper, and I'm like, okay, well, what can I have as my scraps? Y'all, I had to cut out quite a bit of video here because I fast and fast with the darn scraps. I mean, if you watch her video, Miss Kelsey's, she doesn't sit there and just debate and deliberate for hours on end about them scraps. But for whatever reason, for me, even though I had scraps, I just really struggled to figure it out. I had to fast around for so much. So I ended up cutting that out. But here's where I'm like, okay, I like this, but now it's too tall. And I know it's too tall. So I go, okay, well, you're going to be cut down. And it just made me so sad because I really like this paper. Now, here's where I'm kind of debating on a scrap. And I think, well, can I use that scrap there? But then I thought, go, just cut your other deal down. Y'all, I really overcomplicated this layout. This is one of those that it shouldn't have taken that. And it really didn't take me that long. I don't want to suggest that. I think it took me maybe 40 minutes or something. But really, it shouldn't have, because it's legit one of those, scrap paper, put your layers down and you're good to go layouts. And yet I still struggled with just putting my scraps down. So I'm looking at them little fringe deals. I picked those up several times. I do end up using one, but at the moment I'm going to fast around with these darn scraps. So I pulled out this yellow and I'm like, okay, because in the design to me, I saw she had, well, first off, she had 2 pictures and I've only got 1. And so that threw me a little bit. But that being said, really the issue is I kept looking at hers and I'm thinking she's got a little bit taller vertical pieces of paper. And I thought, I need to do that, but I didn't want to cut any more papers, right? So my problem is my yellow and my purple, I really didn't have a thick, what I'm trying to say is it's not wide enough, even though there is a tall enough piece there. You can see that, I can go all the way top to bottom, but I'd cut out that circle, so it made it narrow. So I cut out, again, where I was kind of fassing around and figuring, trying to figure. And then I remembered I had these journaling cards. I had bought with this particular month I think they call it pocket page stuff. So I had all these nice journaling cards over there, and I thought, I bet I can use some of those. And sure enough, I was able to put these. Now, that's not where those 2 go. They actually get swapped. But one just said, let's celebrate, and then the other's this pretty little purple, like journaling card spot thing or whatever. And I actually loved how that turned out. I'm pretty pleased with that decision. But then I'm going, okay, I still need something kind of tall and vertical. And I go, well, I've got these 2 skinny pieces on these scraps here. Let me trim this down. And I think I can slip that behind. And it looks pretty good, actually. I'm pretty pleased with that. Now, that does not to suggest to you guys that I still don't struggle gluing these things down together after I get them all kind of organized. But I do like that. And then I've got this purple one. I'm going to go ahead and trim that little skinny piece. And that'll go behind. Then what I think I end up doing next, I got to remember, because I do bring in one of them little fringe pieces in a minute. But now what's happened is my square that had those little diagonal stripes, that was my gutted piece, it's a little too narrow now. I can't see anything about it. I'm still going through these journaling cards thinking, should I use any more? I should have, because honestly, I do use this little flower one. So I start up there and I go, nope. You got to go back down in here. And that looks pretty good. I like how that ties in that pink and that purple together. But again, I'm looking at this, and I think I'm going to cut away in a minute. Don't get me lying, because I don't remember now on the film. I've been editing things because I go, good Lord, they don't want to sit there and watch you do that for 100 years. So I'm looking at this fringe, though, and I'm like, I definitely want to use this fringe. And I know it's too long. And plus I want to use it on both sides. So I'm going to end up basically tearing it. You can't see the inside anyways. What's funny about it is I'm looking at this video and I know that I put it on the outside. I'm of all the other layers. I'm almost certain now that I put it on the inside of some. So I had the idea, but I do shift things around just a little bit. So I tear that one down. I want it to be, and those are a little bit offset on purpose. So I got one kind of down toward the bottom and one kind of toward the top. And that's generally how I want my layers to look right there. So I'm going to start kind of gluing from the top down because I don't want to lose sight of, what I had where. And plus I need it to kind of line up properly. So I'm going to cut away in just a minute. And if I will say this though, y'all, even though I knew where I wanted everything to go, I still struggle with gluing these things down. I kept moving them and shifting them, and it was like, Christine, just put the darn things down. I just definitely overcomplicated. So I've cut away. I've gone ahead and got them all glued together now. I'm happy with that. And I'm going to take a little double-sided tape and put it to the back. I did not do foam on this one. Might could have, because it is kind of interesting, but on the other hand, no, because when I start putting my embellishments, they need to go on top of the photograph, and I guess I kind of knew that. And plus, there's just so many layers. It's already pretty dimensional. So I'll go ahead and just use my double-sided tape and tack that little guy on down there. And I like how that looks. I'm not sure it's exactly what Kelsey had going on because my layers look a little different than her layers. And secondly, she inked everything and I didn't ink anything. She had done a bunch of, I think she used matching ink to her papers, and I did not do that. So I've stuck it down there, and now I'm just kind of curling up these little fringe pieces here. Now, I don't go all the way to the bottom because I know in the sketch, in her layout, she's got the little embellishment clusters in the 3 places. So I don't really curl the stuff up where I know the embellishment clusters are going to go. Now, here's where I'm kind of going through these embellishments, and y'all, it takes me forever. And so I've cut that piece out because I just kind of look and look and look. And here's now where I've set down the embellishments that I did select. So in her layout, she had a little wooden heart in the lower left corner. And so obviously it's an homage to her layout. So I've got a little heart in a couple places here because she did hearts in a couple places. Now I did not have any arrows, which made me kind of sad because I could have sworn there was. Okay, that's kind of a lie. There's that little dream over there. There's one arrow, but I didn't have any others. So I couldn't do it in the upper left. So I just used another set of little heart ephemera. But I did have the lower left. I had a heart, and then there was a little phrase. And so I was able to kind of mimic her little cluster down there. And I'm just using foam tape. It's to, because when you put it on top of the photo, like everything kind of lifts up. There's just so many layers that needs a little bit of support under there. And then what I've picked out is, it says dream on the little arrow. And then my imagination said, because then it said dreamer on the little tag. And so what I'm doing is building a little title that says dream lovely dreamer. So I have this little word lovely. Now that actually did not come from my hip kit. I remembered I wanted something beautiful. I wanted to say beautiful or something. And I'm looking at the font. It was just too big to spell out kind of what I was looking for. And there wasn't any other words that worked. So I ended up going into my stash and I had a little cocoa vanilla. I believe it was, I want to say it was These Days. And Cocoa Vanilla puts all these little word phrases on the bottom of their sticker sheets, and I really like them. And there was this word lovely in there. So I took lovely and I've added that. So I did supplement my hip kit just a little bit. So I'm curling up my fringe pieces now. And then I had this, she used enamel dots, but this kit comes with all these little like prism looking foam stickers, puffy stickers. So I'm going to take a couple of these little foam puffy stickers and lay them around. And then I'm going to be done, basically. I don't do anything. Oh, that's a lie. That's a lie. I'll tell you in a second. I'm going to cut over. I put those down, and I'm like, okay, that looks really good. That looks really good. But then I look and I realize she inked the edges of her white cardstock. So I decided I can't ink it at this point without making a huge mess. So I decided I'm just going to doodle around the edges. I should have used a purple pen or something like that. But I think this looks okay. I mean, it's black, but that's okay. It's a doodle. It's all right. So I do go around all 4 sides of that, and that looks pretty cute. It kind of encloses the layout. I mean, again, she inked it, but I just had to do something different because I did not think to ink it. I didn't pull any out. So that's it, though. That's really it. So if I hadn't faffed around with my darn scraps so long, it wouldn't have actually taken me all that long. But as usual, I like to overcomplicate. So that's all the doodling. I'm going to slow it down and show you the layout up close here. I think this turned out really pretty. I love these colors. The purple's pretty. I like the little hearts. And I think it's a pretty good homage to her layout. So you guys have a wonderful afternoon. Hopefully you're getting to scrapbook this afternoon on this Crafternoon. Check out Kimberly and Miss Kristen's layouts as well. The links are below. And also check out Miss Kelsey. I'll have her link too. Have a good one. Bye-bye.